we need to have rules in our life, because if we're living together as a society, we're not by ourselves. Human beings are like some animals that live together. If we live together, then, and we have different ideas and we have ability to choose between things, then it's gonna make a big conflict if there are not rules.
Right.
If you look at a society that doesn't believe in God or anything else, as far as mental things, they make their own rules. They make police officers. That's why we have these rules. For that reason, I would say, if you're trying to believe in a religion, we need to first distinguish in between and see which one is what, and study them, and then see the reason why there was different prophets after each other in different periods of time, and what do they say.
I think this is a good time to point out what Karen Armstrong says, because at the time of Muhammad, Jews and Christians would come to cities for trading,
Right.
and they would be talking about their books.
Right.
And they have this wonderful word, taunt. I don't know if you use this word, but it's, you make fun of somebody, and also you attack them with your mouth, like with verbally. You're saying, yeah, I'd expect that from some non-believer who doesn't have a book. We have a book, but you people, you worship this Hubal. What was? She's saying that there was this guy. That there was the Kaaba, and at the time, some people would come and do a Hajj, but it was to worship some other gods. I mean, that's what she's saying in the book. Before Muhammad, there was this tradition already of walking around.
Yes, so let me mention that Kaaba was there from, who made it?
Is it Abraham?
Abraham made the Kaaba with his son.
Okay.
But he built it.
He built it.
And then it was, because Prophet Muhammad's religion, which is Islam, is very similar to Prophet Abraham's.
Right.
And actually, before he becomes a prophet, he was not a Christian. He was following Prophet Abraham's religion.
Oh, okay.
Right. They would call him Nasrani at that time. Nasrani people were following. And now in the society that he lived, there were people who worshipped statues. So they would build something and they would worship them.
Oh, the statues.
Right.
So was that part of the Nasrani?
Nasrani, right.
Okay.
Nasrani people believed in or followed Prophet Abraham. And that's why, as you said, Islam is when you surrender, you said, right?
Surrender.
Right. Is that whatever God says, you accept.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now, you have to see what God says, but you have to know where you get that word from.
Right.
You don't get it from people.
The Nasrani, they didn't have this belief.
Yeah, Nasrani people were the ones who followed Abraham. And Abraham is one of the greatest prophets that really was surrendered to God, was really focused, and in really hard situations, he would never do other than what God says.
Oh, yeah, this whole thing. So you know about the story, he was going to kill his son.
Oh, this is in Koran.
This is in the Quran.
This is in the Quran.
Right. And so this guy really believes what he hears.
Yeah. God said, I want you to suffer your son, kill your son for me. And
the ultimate sacrifice.
Right, and that was the only child they had after years that his wife, also his wife is very famous to be a surrender, that she accepted. She said, if God says that, go ahead.
Boy.
And that time, I hope the story is the same as the knife will not cut his head.
Oh, I hadn't heard about that. See, in our tradition, he raises the knife, and if he brings his arm down, the son will be dead. And in that moment, he hears a lamb.
Yes, right.
Caught in the bush.
Right. I am not saying this according exactly to Quran. Either he was trying to cut his head, or he was trying to kill him.
And it was stopped.
It was stopped, and then yes, God will send a sheep or a goat, to be sacrificed
Right.
instead.
And so this was the Nasranis. They believed in one God.
No, well, this is the same God we're talking. We're talking
Right.
about God, which we call it Allah. You call it God.
Right.
I mean, in other languages, but this is the same God we're talking about. That
That's
He
what he
sent
was
different prophets down.
Okay.
So if you're
And-
Nasrani, you're following Prophet Abraham's religion.
And so they built this box, which it's called the
Out of
Kaaba.
stone. The Kaaba, we call it the house of God, as a symbol.
Is that the translation? Kaaba?
No,
Or
Kaaba is a word. I'm not sure what it means in Arabic, but it's been said to be the house of God.
Okay. I had just this question. It kind of goes back to this first thing about what do U.S. people not understand about Islam. And I think one of the things, this big box, they don't realize that, hey, that's part of our religion too. Abraham was in that area. So it makes sense that that's the box that he built, and it's been
This is
protected.
a huge thing. It's not a box. It's a huge
Yeah, right. It looks like a
building.
box to me. I can't go and visit it, okay?
It's a building.
I can't okay.
Have you seen it in TV or in
I've
pictures?
seen it. Yeah, it's amazing. They have this big cover over it.
Yeah.
The black
it's
cover.
like a huge, I would say, I haven't been there unfortunately, but it's a very huge building. Okay. In Arabic, Nasrani, I believe, means the person who followed Prophet Abraham.
Oh, Prophet Abraham. That's how you
Prophet
translate
Abraham, yeah, I don't know, maybe she has a different translation or meaning
Okay.
for that. But Prophet Abraham was worshipping the same God. It was just way before Moses. So,
so there was this situation that they had the tradition of Ramadan before the Koran was revealed. There was this tradition of making a Hajj. Now, this is just something I'm presenting from the History of God by Karen Armstrong. That in this particular book, starting in the 5th chapter, I recommend reading it so we can have a point where we can start talking a little bit. But the tribe had to be first, and then the individual. When you're in the desert, you have to protect each other. And there was this crisis that the Quraysh, is that?
Quraysh, oh yes.
You call it the Quraysh.
Quraysh, yes.
Okay. And it means, I guess it's a group name?
Quraysh was, well, each tribe had a name. That was
It was a
Quraysh
special name for Quraysh? It
Quraysh
means like
is,
a geography?
I don't know what's the meaning, but it was the name of the tribe
Okay.
that
Like
Prophet
French
was from that tribe.
or German or,
Probably.
you know,
But the Prophet Muhammad was from that tribe.
from that tribe. And the Quraysh had become very successful as merchants. People would come to the Kaaba and they would need food, so the Quraysh were there, they were selling food and doing...
Right.
This is what I've understood from Karen Armstrong.
Okay.
And some of the merchants were saying, why do I have to keep worried about the tribe? I'm very successful myself. Pfft, I don't need to give money to support people. No way. And Muhammad felt that there needed to be something that guided. But the way she puts it is, everybody felt this, because you're an elder, you become 40 years old, you're concerned about your people.
Right.
And so you start complaining about these young people who are not following good behavior. And, what are we going to do with these young people? So I don't think he sought the position to be a prophet. That's the way she says it.